Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, I'm not as attractive as I used to be? Maybe you noticed a few wrinkles, some gray in your hair, or a slower step when you walk. But what if I told you that attractiveness doesn't fade with age? It transforms. What if, right now, you're far more attractive than you realize? Not because of your looks, but because of something deeper, something that young men can't fake and women can't resist. You see, real attraction, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from perfect abs or a flawless jawline. It comes from presence, from the quiet strength that older men naturally radiate when they stop chasing, stop proving, and simply become. And here's the truth. Most men never discover. The moment you stop trying to be attractive, you often become magnetic. Now, I'm not talking about arrogance or apathy. I'm talking about the stoic kind of confidence. The calm certainty that comes from knowing your value, even if no one praises it. The kind of power that doesn't shout, but whispers. The kind that makes people, especially women, feel drawn to you, even if they can't explain why. So, if you're an older man watching this, and you've ever wondered if you've lost your charm, the answer is no. You've probably grown into it. Let's go deeper, because the signs that you're more attractive than you realize are often invisible. Until someone points them out, the first thing that happens when a man matures emotionally is silence. Not weakness, but silence. You no longer need to dominate every conversation or win every argument. You listen more, you respond less, and in a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, a man who listens becomes irresistible. That's the paradox of attraction. People crave the calm they don't have. And when you embody that calm, you become the storm they lean toward. Most older men underestimate how powerful that is. The young try to impress with noise. Expensive watches, loud confidence, endless words. But a stoic man, he doesn't perform. He doesn't decorate his ego. He observes. He knows that validation is a currency for the insecure, and he's long stopped spending it. That's your first sign of deep attractiveness. Your silence holds more power than your words. The second sign is your emotional control. You don't get triggered by nonsense anymore. You've been through heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, and you survived. You've learned that anger solves nothing, and calm reveals everything. A woman who sees that composure in you instantly feels safe. And safety, not drama, is what she truly craves. Young men chase reactions. Older men control energy. That's why, when you walk into a room, the atmosphere shifts. Not because of your looks, but because of your presence. And presence is your third sign. You've probably noticed people turning toward you, even when you're not doing anything special. It's because presence is the opposite of distraction. You're not constantly checking your phone, showing off, or seeking attention. You're just there, grounded, solid. The Stoics called this apatheia, the state of inner peace that comes when you're unaffected by chaos. It's magnetic. People want to be near it because they can't find it in themselves. The fourth sign that you're more attractive than you realize is your indifference to validation. You no longer chase approval. Not from women, not from friends, not from society. You've learned the hard way that applause doesn't equal happiness. The moment you stopped needing to be liked, you started being respected. And that shift, from needing attention to commanding respect, is when your energy changes completely. A man who doesn't beg for validation becomes the man others naturally validate. There's a quote by Marcus Aurelius that fits perfectly here. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. If your thoughts are calm, grateful, and self-assured, your entire presence becomes magnetic. You stop being a man who wants something from people and start being the man everyone wants something from. That's what real attraction looks like. The fifth sign is hidden in your eyes. Not the color, But the gaze, a young man's eyes are restless. They seek approval, desire, or escape. An older man's eyes are steady. They've seen things. They carry experience, pain, wisdom, and acceptance. When you look at someone, you don't just see them. You understand them. And that kind of gaze pierces deeper than any flirtation ever could. It tells people, I've lived. I'm grounded. I know who I am. And that confidence is intoxicating. Another sign that you're more attractive than you realize, number 6, is your boundaries. You no longer say yes to everything. You're not afraid to say no, even if it disappoints someone. You know your worth, and you protect your peace. That quiet refusal to be manipulated, to be stretched thin for approval, is a rare kind of strength. Women notice that. Everyone notices that. It tells the world that you respect yourself. And when you respect yourself, others have no choice but to follow. But here's something deeper. Your maturity isn't just physical. It's spiritual. You've stopped chasing fleeting pleasure. You seek meaning now. You read, you reflect, you enjoy solitude. And in a culture addicted to constant stimulation, that kind of inner stillness makes you stand out like a lighthouse in a storm. You've probably felt it. People start confiding in you, seeking advice, or wanting to be near your energy. That's no coincidence. It's the 7th sign, gravitas, the invisible weight of a man who has faced life without flinching. You don't need to talk about your pain. You've already turned it into wisdom. You don't need to prove your strength. You are strength, quietly embodied, and that authenticity, that inner calm, that silent self-respect, it makes you magnetic, not just to women, but to everyone who's tired of the fake. Now here's the 8th and final sign, and it's the one most men never recognize in themselves. You make people feel seen, not judged, not compared, but truly seen. You listen without trying to fix. You speak without trying to dominate. You give attention like it's a gift, not a transaction. That's an energy very few men can give. And when you do, people feel it immediately. You become unforgettable. Attraction isn't about youth. It's about energy. It's about how you carry your scars, how you face life's storms, and how you treat others when you don't need anything from them. A Stoic man understands this deeply. You cannot control whether people find you attractive, but you can control the energy you bring into every room. And the man who masters that, who carries peace in chaos, calm in noise, and dignity in loss, becomes someone people admire, respect, and desire. You might look at yourself and think you've aged, but understand this. Every line on your face is a story of survival. Every grey hair is a symbol of lessons learned. You've earned your calm. You've earned your peace. And that's something no gym, no trend, no youth can replicate. Women feel it when a man walks in with this quiet power. They feel the difference between a man who wants attention and a man who deserves it. And here's the truth. When you no longer need to chase love, love begins to chase you. Because confidence, real confidence, isn't about saying, look at me. It's about saying, I'm okay if you don't. That's the paradox that Stoicism teaches. Indifference to outcome is the ultimate source of power. So if you've ever doubted your worth because you're older, remember this. Youth fades, but presence grows. The calm you carry, the control you've earned, the dignity in your silence, that's rare. And what's rare is always desired. Next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm not attractive anymore, stop, breathe, and look closer. You're not losing your attractiveness. You're finally embodying it. You're no longer the man chasing validation. You're the man others quietly admire and can't quite figure out why. And that mystery, that peace, that grounded self-awareness is the most attractive thing in the world.